Right. Welcome to session 14 of Spelljammer. Who has a recap for me?
I do. Rune's personal log, 20th day of Flame Rule. I got an opportunity to dress up, which is rare. One of the only things I managed to keep from my parents was a dress one of my mother's had. It fits, of course, though she was a bit bigger in the chest, so it's a good thing I'm a changeling. Or wait, did she make herself bigger? Oh well, I can't ask now, and I made myself sad. Anyways, we ran into another one of the Waybringers, a Git engineer named Goon, and while everyone explained what was going on, we found out there was a saboteur who managed to cause the ship to begin slowly traveling into the nearby sun, albeit very slowly. To try and get this sorted quickly, we split up, and I went to enjoy the casino and my dress along with Jax. Goon, Ido, and Vexis went down to inspect the engine. They told me later the engines were powered by some kind of elemental creature, and it seems that it's gotten a bit loose. While they were investigating, we decided to head to the casino, and I managed to get a little buzz just by walking around, which was odd, but I guess that's how they get the gamblers to part with their money. In the interest of trying to learn more about what was going on, I sidled up next to a lovely dragonborn lady. She had been abandoned by her adventuring party after some kind of accident left her blind, but that didn't seem to affect her luck as she seemed to win a lot. Jex tried to learn some information from an orange-haired girl named Zarin, who I thought was cheating, but Jex said it was maths, which just sounds like cheating with extra steps. Oh, and she has lots of sisters, and Jex may have known one of them, but he didn't learn anything about the saboteur or anything. I think he may have been distracted. I decided after our conversation that I'd ask Ido about helping my new friend with an ersatz eye. One of my mothers had one fitted after an accident with a frying pan, so I know they work, at least as long as you don't take it out and roll it down the hallway, mistaking it for a marble. Mum was very dizzy for a while after that. I heard later that Vax smashed his head through a vent looking for this escape thing. Also, I hate talking to guards. They don't know anything. They're very unhelpful. That is to say, I tried to get to the vault, which I know I was allowed into, but they said no. When I mentioned the eye to Ido, he asked a lot of questions and mentioned surgery. So I'll need to make sure she's okay with having Ido operate on her, and that she wants a new eye. But I'm sure it will be okay. Ido is very careful, and I trust him. I think I blacked out at this point, but Ido told me that they asked the crew and told them that the navigational system had been sabotaged, and apparently the ship is powered by star energy containers, whatever those are. We did find out the former engineer was killed as a result of some altercation with the captain, which might mean that the saboteur is the engineer, who we can't really question being dead and all. Maybe we should ask if they still have the head, and Ido can perform kind of brain surgery or something.
How many brains do people have?
One. Well, I have a soup. We also found the missing part in the navigation room that is probably causing all the problems, so I guess we need to find that one. We know what it looks like and its general shape, so all we need to do is put the star shape in the square hole. In the end, it looks like whoever did this might be looking to ransom the whole ship when it comes to it, as the break was clean, so they could put the part back. So we checked the lifeboats and didn't find anything. I did have a final thought, though, before signing out. Maybe there's something on the way that they were trying to get to, and the sun was just a convenient location. And that's it.
There you go. Congratulations. A little mystery aboard a casino.
Indeed.
Who would like to get a little bit of aid from Destiny today?
Can I volunteer Goon to...
You can.
Goon's first one.
Indeed.
When we have seen Goon, is Goon wearing a bracelet?
No.
Okay.
Is that the right person? No, that's the wrong person. And whilst you are waiting to send this across, can you roll me a D10, Mike?
Yes. Yes, I can. 0 or 10, depending on
Thank you.
what your numbering system uses.
You get 10 magic items.
Can you confirm? You can see my list.
All of them cursed.
I can indeed.
Ignore the fact that the ring and cloak are marked. That was an error on my part. You can still
Okay.
pick those.
Have you added some? Because there's one here that I don't know what that is, and I'm trying to work out if I just have a bad memory or if that's been added in.
Which one?
The crystal.
That is one of my custom ones that has been
Cool.
in the campaign since the very beginning, and no one has picked, which I'm very.
Well,
upset.
I'm very curious about that. Would I know what that is? If not, I might pick it anyway because I like the mystery. Yeah, I'm going to pick the mystery option. It might be a boat.
Ironically, I think you asked this the same time when you were picking the very first time in
Wow.
session 2 or 3. You should have a picture on its way to you.
Ooh.
Is that what you're picking?
Yeah, I'd picked it before I even knew what it did, so I'm even happier with my choice. So. Oh, yeah, even more so. That last bit, yeah, that's the good stuff. Cool.
Okay, cool. So you don't have to tell anyone because you've not met these other people before, but you happen to have in your possession this crystal on a necklace or on a bracelet. Entirely up to you. Actually, you asked about Chronofer bracelets. Is this a bracelet or is this a necklace? Or is it just a thing you dump in your pocket?
Well, I'm because he's kind of got like power armor effectively. Is it something that could be?
Yeah, absolutely.
An Iron Man chest piece type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but for copyright reasons, it's legal.
Legally distinct.
It's my favourite flavour of distinct.
Legally distinct arc reactors. Right, cool.
As you
It's
all
Iron
hand-
Hippo.
You instantly touch your crystal that you've had for a while. The lights flicker across the entire ship just for a few seconds, almost like a power outage, a power surge. It flickers momentarily and then resumes back to normal.
Well, we're boned.
Did you forget to pay the electric bill?
It's happened once or twice since the event. Don't know what's going on there. We can't explain it.
I had it on very good authority that you should not speak about the event.
Different event.
Ah, gotcha.
No, this is the event we're allowed to talk about. The other one, that one we shouldn't discuss it. Now, I do think that there is a possibility that the missing part that we need might be inside the vault, because I can see a world in which someone has secreted inside the vault. Captain, is there any chance of being able to, under escort, go into the vault and rifle through everyone's belongings?
Absolutely not.
How about just some people's belongings? By which I mean, if we can bring you a suspect, could I? Yeah.
If you bring me a suspect, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't just let you rifle through the contents of the entire passenger's secret item. Well,
Okay, if it's
a persuasion, Rich.
yes, please.
With a 19 on the die, that's a hot 17.
Fucking hell.
Okay, would it make you feel any better if I agreed to go in completely naked so I couldn't hide anything on my person and sneak it out?
That's
Except for his 7 body
worse.
cavities.
You were talking over each other. I couldn't hear either of you there for a second.
It somehow makes it worse.
Okay.
Tell you what, if you can give me a suspect, I will think about it. Or if you can find the saboteur.
Weren't we
Either
going
way.
to check the crew quarters?
Yes. So, would you like me to tell you the places you haven't been?
Yes.
So you've been to none of the sleeping quarters. You haven't been the crew quarters, the officers' quarters, or the passenger quarters. You haven't been to the observation deck, and you haven't been to storage.
Take one around
Or the restaurant.
crew quarters. I
Yeah,
suppose they'll have signed some kind of agreement that lets them submit to security searches or some such.
well,
By all means.
that and the sabotage occurred in a restricted area, so
Yes,
we
so it would
haven't
have been
ruled
doubly
out
hard
that
for a passenger to have done so.
See, I think it's possible that if there is a crew saboteur, so Captain, do any of the crew have access to the vault?
No, not even most of the officers have access to the vault. They are strictly for casino pit crew, myself, and my first mate. We can't just let anyone touch the valuables of both passengers or the casino winnings.
Okay, and what measures are in place to stop, say that you had a member of the pit crew who had taken something that didn't belong to them and wanted to keep it hidden somewhere, so snuck it into the vault room, just until they were able to retrieve it later when the heat had died down. What safeguards do you have against that?
I mean, it'd be highly irregular for them to do that. They don't have any. You're having me doubt myself, and I don't like that. But again, you haven't proven why. You can't just speculate that that's the thing that they've done.
Well, I'm just asking about the safeguards you have in place, so that we can rule out that option and go down a new line of inquiry.
The only people who can access the vault directly is myself, my first mate, and the leader of the pit crew.
The lead of the pit crew. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I missed lead there.
That's my fault.
Can I confirm that the previous engineer didn't have access to the vault?
You're correct. None of the crew have access. Certainly not.
Out of character, did we ever find out what they actually did to the previous engineer?
That's what I was about to ask, actually.
Pure speculation on your part.
Yeah, it was. We were never able to confirm, but we got the impression that the previous engineer is no longer amongst the living.
Do you have the previous engineer's body anywhere lying around? Maybe a morgue or something of that nature?
Or even personal effects?
Yes, we can. I mean, he left the ship at the last port. You can see his room if you want.
Please. Yeah, can they point out where within the crew quarters that is, in case he's...
We're talking to the captain, right?
Yes.
Where is the first mate?
He's around. You need to speak to him. I can summon him for you.
We'll look at the crew quarters first. Why don't you summon, if you think, summon him up here, and then we can go look in his crew quarters while he's up here.
Summon the first mate up here, whilst you go down to the crew quarters.
It depends how long it's going to take, I suppose. But or should we make an appointment? Say we'll meet him here in, say, half an hour?
I was more inclined to say that way if he's not anywhere near his crew quarters while we go searching through it.
That's why I wanted to clarify. There is a very distinct difference between crew quarters and officers' quarters. Crew quarters, bottom floor, alongside the engine room and the storage room.
And that's where the engineer was.
Up here with the bridge and the star map and the vault.
Although I did notice there appears to be no doorway into that corridor.
Again, so the maps are purely here as an overview of
I know. I am just... It just tickles me that, yes, we have the most wonderful officers' quarters that we can't use.
Yes, we had a bricklayer with a sense of humour.
This was like AI generation is failing me. I have to go into Dungeon Draft and quickly whip up a high-level overview of a ship.
That's all good. Will we be permitted to go and look around the officers' quarters?
Sure.
Out of character question, sorry, rather than
out of character. You can. The only one he won't let you look in is his own.
His, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, sort of, my brain is thinking the old engineer caught him sabotaging his own ship. He stabbed him and stuffed his body in a panel or something.
Yeah.
Like, if we go crawling around in the walls, that or light buzzing around in the walls that we saw is the ghost of the old engineer.
Well, I think
we
officers'
start with-
quarters, because we're up here already, and if we look at the old engineer had officers' quarters, didn't he? Chief engineer.
No, he would have had crew quarters.
Did he? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
crew quarters. Much
Can
like
you-
Goon, he's not an officer.
Okay. In that
Yeah,
case,
so,
I'm
like-
happy to go check out that room first and just see if how much of a hurry he packed, or
Yes.
packed at all.
So we're
Well-
going crew quarters first.
I think like they said, we're up here anyways. The officer quarters make sense, and we'll go to the captain and say, just call the first officer up here for some other reason, so you can keep him distracted while we go through his things. You don't know who the saboteur is, yes?
I mean, I'm confident it's not one of my officers.
Why?
But if the
I
first
trust
officer,
them implicitly.
if the first officer isn't up here with us, then actually it doesn't matter. Like if we're going to call him up here, actually he's more likely to discover what we're doing.
Well, as long as the captain doesn't tell him, then no. That's
Well, no,
not
'cause-
true?
I have no problem for you to search his quarters.
Yeah,
Alright.
because the crew quarters and where the captain is are kind of quite close, if I recall correctly. So
I'm also not opposed to having the first officer watch as we go through his quarters,
Yeah.
and then someone who's a
Sorry,
good
say-
read of
say again?
people could stand there and watch him.
Offering to the captain or the first mate, rather, said that, like, oh, well, if you watch us go through theirs, it's only fair that they watch us go through yours. I should not be taking social point on this.
It's fair. If we're going
Vaxxers
to
shouldn't either.
Should we split up and look for clues, gang, and some of us go down and check out the crew quarters, and others take a look at the officers' quarters?
I'm happy to take the officer's quarters. I'm up here anyways, and it saves me walking in heels for longer.
Yeah, so I'm happy to look at the crew quarters.
I'll
Especially
join
if
you in
my
there.
more investigative talents can be put to better use investigating a place where the person no longer resides.
Follow me.
So-
I'll show you where I sleep.
Jolly good.
I'll hang back with Rune.
And then Jex.
He'll stay up top. Just
Just so you don't have to do two characters in the same scene again.
so they can't talk over each other. Yeah.
Also means Mike can ask questions in both places.
I mean,
Can I bring in my second character now, Rich?
No.
Uh,
Okay, what would you like to do first?
well, you've loaded the crew quarters.
crew,
So shall we do
sure.
that one?
let's start there.
Sure. Basic and efficient. These rooms feature simple utilitarian feature. The air is oddly clean here, and you realise it lacks the lavish sense of the passenger areas. Narrow bunk beds, neatly folded linens provide each crew member with the space for rest and privacy. Compact storage units and communal areas highlight the practical nature of the space, as well as the cost-saving measures, emphasising functionality over extravagance.
And Master Goon, you say that you've taken over the bunk and the berth of this previous engineer?
Has Goon taken over the exact same bunk, or is he just sleeping in the same room?
Roll me. Hang on, do you want highs or lows?
Highs. The other question is, would Goon even know that?
Okay, then I have decided. Then you can figure out for yourself. Then.
I think it's more a question of, like, is every other bunk full of crew? Because presumably it's pretty packed down here.
Roll me an insight check.
I would love to do that.
Goon has not been paying attention. That is a 9.
28.
You get the impression that some of these, so roughly about 50% of the bunks are full. The other 50% are unoccupied. But you get the impression by looking at the unoccupied beds that some are fresher or more recently used, even though they're not used anymore than others. And you get the impression that it looks like over time, it might be that they are getting replaced by something. You could probably make the inference that there's an over-reliance, particularly since you've been into the engine already, there's an over-reliance on the auto-gnome population.
Who don't sleep in the same way.
As a player, are autognomes like sentient, or are they closer to like robotic assistants in the sense that like Alexa or something might be?
My read was they are more Alexa than not.
Cool.
Just had a thought. Vaxxers would probably be down there with them because it wouldn't want to leave Ido alone with this new person. Whereas Jex and Rune would probably be... So he still wouldn't have done anything different so far, so he would have just been stood there watching around.
Roll me a history tech, Rune. Goon.
Oh man, that's a 4 on the dice. And I don't think Goon's a particularly smart cookie.
They look like robots to you.
7 actually total.
Yeah, they look like robots to you.
May I also ask, are there any people down here taking their mandatory breaks or whatnot?
Mhm.
The crew.
Yeah, one or two.
I'll just pick out the nearest one. I say, you there. The old engineer. Where was their particular bar? What manner of creature were they?
They were a dwarf.
Dwarf. And where was their bunk? Their berth?
They point at a bunk that is now empty.
Now empty. Cool. Could I just investigate the bunk area to see if there's any belongings that have been left behind or any little notes that have fallen down?
Absolutely can.
I'm going to get my little awakened tree is going to position its head mirror to give me light. And
And can I do the same for any like personal lockers or like
Sure.
trunks or anything like that?
I'll give you the help action, Goon.
quite bad. It's 22.
You find the locker is locked, by the way, Goon. So you'll need to break it open. As for you, Mr. Ido, you find tucked underneath the mattress a pamphlet. It is entitled Cosmic Cooperation, Navigating Nebulas and Negotiating Unions in the Interstellar Workplace.
Are we the baddies?
We haven't done any union busting,
Yes.
nor have we crossed any picket lines.
Very good.
So it's 23 on the investigation check, and can I attempt to pick the lock with thieves' tools? Because as
You can.
given
I'll
my
paste
class, I
a
have-
snippet from my DM's notes for you.
Cool. What trait would that be? A dex
Uh,
a lock?
that would be thieves' tools, or I think it's raw int. If not,
Yeah. So I've got thieves' tools. So is that then
int
just
plus proficiency?
okay? Cool. 18 total.
You crack it open. Inside, you find a whole stack of pamphlets, all being the same thing.
Interesting. Have you seen any of these more recently, Master Goon?
Not that I recall. I'm assuming that he has not been invited to any union meetings. No. Can I try and recall if there's a distinct lack of these pamphlets? My thinking is that
This is the first time you've seen them.
yeah, it's all new to me.
Very good. The people that I was talking to earlier, were they autognomes or were they organic?
No. Autonomes have no need for sleep, therefore they are not in.
They don't even come to the crew quarters. Okay. The person I was speaking to a moment ago, are they a dwarf as well, or are they elsewhere?
They are an elf.
Hello. I found this out the back of the old. What was the old engineer's name, by the way?
His name was Zavaris.
Zavaris. We were close with Zavaris.
I mean, we got along well. He had a good work ethic amongst. He helped most of the crew out when he could.
Did he ever come into conflict with anyone on the ship?
Not that I'm aware of. We keep to ourselves. We follow the rules.
Very good. And what were the circumstances of his leaving, do you know?
My understanding was that he had a disagreement with the officer upstairs, and for whatever reason, he was let go.
Have you ever seen one of these before? And I'll hold up one of the pamphlets.
Absolutely not. Not interested. Thank you.
Can I roll insight on that?
Would also like to roll insight.
30.
You rolled 4 on the die for his.
Sorry, 28.
14. You got double 9.
Yeah, you've seen that before.
Is he scared of what might happen if he admits it?
Absolutely. He wants nothing to do with that piece of paper.
On a 28, do I get the sense that he might have, but he's been scared into silence? Okay. Well, I don't believe you, but that's fine. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to rat you in. I believe there's a term for what happens to snitches, and I have no truck with that. In fact, providing the stitches is my sort of purview more than the creation of the need for stitches. Anyway, did they murder him or some such? Is that what's going on here?
He had a disagreement with the captain, and we didn't see him after we docked.
You see him after we docked.
Docked at the last port. We got Master Goon over there. He came on board. That's all
Did
we
you
know.
see him disembark?
We were told that his services were no longer required, and that was all we know.
When did he have this disagreement with the captain?
A couple of days before we arrived at port.
Did
And
you
saw him
see?
after that?
No. You were told.
So he didn't return to his bunk at all after having the disagreement with the captain for 3 days.
I mean, it was a couple of days. Let's not twist my words. Thank you.
Sorry,
an officer
2
came.
days.
Thank you. An officer came to collect his belongings, and that was the order to be told us what was going on, and that was that.
Aha.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna go back to work.
Yes.
You're on break, aren't you?
Not anymore.
Union strong. Yeah. Like I appreciate that Ido has the vibe of the arch narc, but even I can't bring myself to make him be pro union busting.
I mean, Vaxis is a proper blue-blooded aristocracy bastard, and yeah, he still wouldn't be a union buster.
Yeah. Okay. Could I make a surreptitious little check around?
What sort of check would you like to make?
I'd like to investigate, but I'd like to try and do it stealthily. Have I successfully scared these two off by my talk of such things?
Yes.
In that case, I'd like to have a scan around the other crew's belongings and stuff to see if there's any more of these pamphlets in other people's bunks and stuff.
Sure. Give me a roll.
30.
So you're checking all bunks, occupied bunks? Where are we looking?
The occupied ones, but actually also if the unoccupied ones would make a good hiding place, those as well.
You find nothing in the occupied bunks. You find one under the pillow of another unoccupied bunk.
Unoccupied. Okay. Does it look like that one was used but is no longer rather than has never been?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm going to communicate telepathically with Vaxis and Goon. Well, I always say actually, I don't need to speak quietly because I just...
You communicate telepathically anyway, so...
Yeah, that's a silly question. What? Do we...
I believe I ruled last time that the ship is too big for you to communicate across the ship.
Well, yeah, but Vaxis is in the same room.
In the room with me, just so no one can overhear us, but then I just forgot. That
that's what my little retcon thing was earlier. Yeah. I'm not up in the officers' quarters, I'm down here.
Apologies.
Because Vaxis wouldn't just let Ido be alone with this random person that they don't really know enough about yet.
I mean, we've got a lot in common. I took a Hippocratic oath, and...
So bad.
Joe,
yeah,
headphones, please, if you don't mind.
Oh, right. Sure.
I can hear myself. Man, now I feel like a narc.
I'm gonna use the toilet. So, back.
Oh, go on then, if everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, might as well.
I'll be here.
I really need to get longer headphones.
Everyone else has gone to the loo.
I figured.
And yeah, sorry to. As I said when you left, now I feel like a narc. Sorry to make you put on headphones or earphones.
All right. No, these came with free with a phone or something, and they are like I can get to about here.
Yeah. Whereas my cable, despite being plugged into the back of the PC, is still really quite long. I could get almost to the table.
My God, look at the tasteful thickness of it. It even has a watermark.
Right.
What are we thinking on the old dribber flip?
Okay,
Okay.
I think that they might have thrown the old engineer into
Out of an airlock.
into a sun or something.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
you know, so yeah, this conversation is happening out of character. But yeah, I fully suspect that they have done a naughty with regards to the old engineer.
As a player, I think they've either eaten him or turned him into an auto name.
Pate.
That's the
also-
kind of good quality conspiracy theory I am here for.
Yeah. Also, my webcam's not switching back on, but I will troubleshoot that later. I am here. You just can't see my lovely face.
Maybe they.
Hooray! I mean, we'll live.
Maybe they. What is it? Maybe they. So like, maybe they killed him, and he made friends with whatever's in the engine, and the whatever's in the engine is pissed off. He says, "Where's my friend gone?"
That's a possibility.
Bear with me a second. I need to check something.
Rah! I'm not playing a druid yet.
Oh.
That reminds me, I don't actually know what some of your classes are. You give me massive character descriptions and not give me a class to go with it. It's like,
I mean, the class doesn't really matter as long as you got the good story behind it.
I mean, it's got... No, but I fundamentally, I want to agree with you. However, for the interest of, like, mechanics, I kind of need to know.
Are you glad I did it the other way around, Brad?
Your class is so thematically relevant and narratively focused that there was no way for you to do it the other way around, I don't think.
Oh, is he playing a mystic?
No, God. Those are banned. I had one person play it, and it was like he was like, I'm determined to play it. So, all right, you play it, you figure out the complicated bullshit with it, and you can do it. It's like he got to combat. His combat round took 4 times longer than anyone else, and I went, do you really want to keep doing this? No. All right, I'm gonna kill him now.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna make his own psychic powers like fold in on himself. All right.
See, I would have been tempted to just respec as a sorcerer and then just say that this entire time was just one long wild magic surge.
Nah, I full gear at him.
So, what was Ido about to communicate to us telepathically?
What do we think is really going on here, chaps? Do you think they've gone a bit murdery on the old engineer? On the old engineer? Feels a bit murdery.
You will receive back telepathically, and again, Vaxis, you can hear this as well. I don't think the engineer is with us anymore.
But I'm more curious as to whether he's physically with us rather than sort of existentially. Like, is his body still on the ship, or is he get jettisoned? Ooh, the observation deck. Maybe there's clues. Like scuffle marks.
has in Goon's time here, has Goon ever seen any of the officers eat or drink? And do they have a private food supply, like a private kitchen?
An officer's mess.
Yeah.
They have their own communal area. Again, there's a reason why the quarters are separate. You have never seen them. The only time you see them is when they are around giving orders or around mingling with guests on the passenger deck. In the rare occasion you go up there to fix something, you do not mingle with the officers.
And have I received kind of an unwelcoming vibe? Like, I am there for that purpose, and if I do anything outside of that purpose, things will end badly. Like, I don't like an uncomfortable feeling.
Roll me an insight check at disadvantage.
Happily. Well, 8 is the second one was a natural 20. So 8.
You've had nothing but courteous and pleasant vibes from them.
Oh,
They've
okay.
treated you with respect.
And I suppose we wouldn't see, as relative newcomers and people who've been hired, we wouldn't necessarily see the same thing the crew had seen. I wish I was one level higher and could cast Detect Thoughts. A bloody rogue dip. Anyhow,
Well, yeah, but if you get up to like what is it, level 10 or something as a rogue, then you can't roll below a 10 on your skill checks. And won't that be nice for you?
Okay, I think, should we defer to the upstairs crew?
Absolutely.
Ooh.
So it's Jex and Rune.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We're unescorted as well, aren't we?
The officers' quarters, yeah.
Yes. Cool. Right. Down the officers' quarters we go. So there's 6 rooms?
Again, this is a similar, yeah. So I have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 rooms. There's probably a few more of the lower, less important ranking officers as well. But a long corridor adorned with portraits of various important people act as a gateway between the bridge and the officers' quarters. Most rooms are locked shut, but one room has been left open and notice it's lavishly adorned, reflecting the privilege enjoyed by the ship's leaders. The room is spacious, featuring a large bed and finely crafted, polished wooden desk. A large window offers a panoramic view of space.
Right. Well, Captain would have the biggest room, was probably down there. And then I guess we just start at the first officers and work our way down. So we start exploring the officers' quarters.
Yeah.
Which one first?
First officer?
First officer.
From the investigation.
Ooh.
8.
Investigation. Don't want to spend these just yet. Unnatural 20.
Great. I love it when Ido's not with you.
I could break 25 if I use my d6s, but I'm like,
Reveal your secrets to me, Idoberg.
Right, yep. Unnatural 20 for the first officers.
You find a hidden compartment in the first officer's room. Do you look inside? Have to.
Of course, it's there. It's like,
Yeah.
And you find a mechanical piece.
The mechanical piece we're looking for?
Yeah, why not?
like,
Well, to pick one reason of the 13 or 14 that present themselves.
Upon discovery, can I now make a perception check? Is the first officer in the room with us? Like, just stood in the doorway?
The door slammed shut. Well, no, you are alone.
I mean, I did say to him, this. Do you feel this is too easy? Like, I've got this in my hand, and I feel like this. Are we being pranked? Is that
Well-
what's occurring?
We should present our findings to the captain, and we should have the engineer. Get if we have Goon look over it. Although the captain seems to know more about the navigation system than Goon does, so. But I mean, we've.
I'm genuinely normally very lucky, and just like things seem to fall into my lap. But even this is ridiculous. Should we investigate anywhere else? Just for completeness sake.
Yeah, let's check the next quarter in case there's also a secret compartment that has an identical piece, because it would be awkward if we point the finger at the first officer and actually every single crew member has got one of these devices. So can we check the next officer's quarters?
Yeah,
Obviously
yeah.
not the
You're
captain,
just
but-
going to the next room down in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the next room.
Out of curiosity,
Okay.
which room is that? Whose room is that, rather?
Quartermaster, I
It
guess.
is Officer Klin,
Cool.
who was the guy in the star map room.
Sure.
Cool.
Roll me
Yeah.
investigation.
Can I guidance? Can I guidance Brad? Because
Certainly.
Sure.
I'm not.
Okay.
Natural 20. For
Oh.
26.
You guided me. Got a better roll. Because I got 16 total this time.
Just as you're busy going, okay, you've got this. Your hand just goes dunk on,
Yeah.
knocks open a secret panel. Oh,
Neat.
You find nothing of excitement in Officer Klin's room bar his personal belongings.
Things are not looking good for the first officer. Should we do one more so that we then have a majority of those who've not hidden objects versus one person who has? But or we just go
we
to the
could-
captain.
We could try the captain's quarters. Yeah.
Well, if he was quite
I mean, if they're going,
insistent that we don't do that, and if we think this conspiracy involves the first officer, the only one who can outrank him is the captain, and I feel it's unwise to annoy the
also-
captain.
yeah, but the captain is the one who could plant evidence on the first officer. Maybe we should just meet up with the others and see what they think.
Yes. Okay. Yep. That's fine.
So no more rooms?
No. No more rooms for now. I think we've struck gold. We'll reconvene and then. Yeah.
You know what they say: when you struck gold, you keep digging and find diamonds.
And then you fall into lava.
I was about to say,
Yeah, I
if
was
your
gonna
Y
say.
coordinate is too low.
Yeah, let's go meet up with the others. If we get in range, we'll get Ido's telepathy, so we'll just kind of keep going downwards until Ido.
You're muted again.
Ido, you appear to be muted.
Yes? You were just
we
outside
found-
the range of my telepathy.
Yes, we found something.
Oh, so did
my-
we.
Ooh, that's good. Why don't you come up to the officers' quarters and we can decide what to do from there?
I've pocketed a couple of the Union leaflets.
Distribute it randomly.
Just plant it on crew members you don't like. Okay.
Yeah, we'll head up to the old should we meet in the midsection rather than up at the top?
Well, we might want to research more officer quarters, depending on the conversation. Is my only thinking.
Okay, let's do that then.
But we
Well-
have a quick conversation out of ear's reach of anyone.
Yep. So I go. So when you guys get up here, I go ta-da,
Ta-da!
and I show the part.
Oh yes,
Specifically.
fine. Yours is better. Well done.
I mean, we could wrap the part in a Union leaflet.
Yes, I think they might have been busting.
But I don't feel like I did a lot to find this, and I'm very confused.
Was it suspiciously so, or?
It was a secret compartment, but at the same time, it was like the first room we searched, and it wasn't very hard.
Whose room was it?
At the first officers. Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't find the compartment, and we were both looking.
You could just be
So-
overthinking it. It could be as simple as it seems. First officer
Why?
has got the component secreted away, and we just need to interrogate him.
True.
Can Goon inspect the part to confirm that it is indeed the part that's missing?
And also not tampered with.
Absolutely, yeah. Give it a go.
Yeah.
Roll me an investigation.
Or
Or Arcana, yeah. Yeah.
Can that be guidance by Jex?
I'll guidance it.
Sweet.
Can Jex give it a bardic inspiration?
Ooh.
I'll whack a help action on there if you want.
Well, it's currently at 18. So I might, yeah. We'll stick with that and see what we get.
It is in fact the part that has been removed, and it looks like to have been done so in a clean and repairable fashion.
And it's not booby trapped.
It does not appear to be being trapped.
Would there be a way to tell if it had been tampered with?
I think you can trust Goon's insight in the matter.
Well, I mean, I guess technically the job that we were hired to do was to stop them from hurtling into the sun. This part will allow them to do that, so that would technically be job done. However, no?
No,
Oh, however,
still
We
out.
also need to catch the
Saboteur.
saboteur, yes, okay.
But at least we're no longer drifting towards the sun, which is.
Or we have the
a big
ability to
plus.
stop ourselves drifting towards the sun at a convenient moment.
Yes.
So,
Do we want to
I-
go and confront the first officer about this? Do we want to go and talk to the captain quietly about this?
I think I would prefer to speak to the first officer alone first.
Okay.
As in, us talking to him, not me, God knows. Goodness no.
I can talk to people if we want to do.
I can
Or-
hold people upside down by their ankles and shake them until all the money falls out.
And I can drill through their kneecaps. Truly, we are a team.
I saw that happen in a cartoon once. I've always wanted to do it.
Ah, fun stuff. Right, there's this first officer then.
So you asked the captain to summon the first officer?
Yeah, but like to
A private interview room.
Oh,
Of
could
some
you have
description.
Marcus to meet us on the observation deck?
No. Can we summon him to his quarters, and then look to see, and then if we ask him, is there anything that you want to tell us, or is there anything you're hiding? See if his eyes dart to the hiding place.
Ooh. Okay.
Yes, that's probably a good idea. Also, perhaps in order to not arouse suspicion either with him or someone else, we should say that it is for a separate reason. Like, we need to know if you were there when something happened. You might have seen something.
Yes.
We
we're
want to
conducting-
speak to him about any interactions he might have had with the previous engineer.
Yes.
Yes? Yes, let's do that then. Jolly
Yeah,
good.
Can we summon the first officer to his quarters?
Very well.
Uh,
So the captain, and he will
and-
put over a...
Goon will activate his telepathic adept so that he can perceive any telepathic communication going out, just in case he's sending out a secret distress signal.
He's just there in his mind going, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
You arrive at the quarters first, and then a few minutes later, Lieutenant Kyrin.
What kind of creature?
He is an elf, like all the other officers.
All the other officers.
Were all these officers vampires, or am I making that up?
They just
Uh,
look
it was-
vampiric.
Okay,
They
just-
look unhealthy, and the art was used was, I think Rich Devers called that, was that right?
I
I
will
think they
refer
were very
you...
pale-looking elves.
Yes, very pale looking. Absolutely. Where is it? And I will show you the image.
Yes.
Pay no attention to the caption of the image.
Pay no attention to the caption of the image. Right. Jolly good.
So,
Yes, how can I help? The captain said you need to speak to me about interactions with the previous engineer.
Yes, when did he leave the ship?
10 days ago. Rich can't remember it. Rough. It will line up
Yeah,
exactly.
he will give that. And he left on. He just wandered off on shore and toddled about his business. Is that right?
I was not part of that process. The captain personally saw him off the ship.
Right. Jolly good. Well,
I'm going to roll insight on that. Ooh. 17.
He's not lying. The captain personally, as far as he knows, the captain personally took him off the ship.
Okay.
and yeah.
Were you friends with the engineer of any kind? You know, like
Usually not.
Why not?
And he looks over again. No offense, but the officers' class stays up here, and the engineers and the crew stay below. We pay them well. This is a amicable relationship, but no, we don't.
It's a harmonious working environment. There's not been any upsets in the social order.
There was a very brief disagreement that we had with some of our crew, but
Oh, whereabouts was that?
a few days before docking.
And you came down on the side of the officers, one would presume.
The captain led the negotiations, as far as I'm aware. We agreed collectively that it was in the best interest of the ship to let a few crew go.
And what's your relationship with the captain? You would get on?
We all get along up here.
Can I inside check that?
Yes, me too, please.
A natural 1, Joe. Rich rejoices.
Oh, that's a shame.
Hey, I'll take that one.
26.
Yeah.
Well, he seems of good social standing and wealthy, so I believe him. I will say telepathically to these guys.
As far as the first officer is aware, he has a good relationship with the captain.
We
our
are.
leader.
We are thinking as our next course of action that we might begin searching rooms to see if anyone's hidden the missing part for the ship. Do you have any suggestions on where to start? And then at the same time, can I make a perception check to see if his eyes dart to the hiding spot?
Roll me a perception check.
Cool.
I would nothing against that. You can search as many of the crew's lockers as you'd like.
Could I also try and...
27.
Never mind.
Eyes do not dart to the compartment.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
This being. How do we want to play it?
Okay, Goon will telepathically talk to his group members. He goes, what if we leave and then hide to see if he comes back to remove the part? Sorry, that's not his accent, but yeah.
I'm quite good. I'm sneaky. I can hide nearby.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Um,
Do you believe it is a member of the crew?
it has to be somebody on board at the very least, and for it to be damaged in the way that it was, it must be somebody either in the crew or the officers. So,
I mean, my assumption it's a stowaway maybe who came aboard during the last docking, because everything seemed to have happened since the last port of call. So,
Have you found any other signs of stowaways since since last docking?
this guy. Is there any weird signs on him, like anything strange about him specifically, like physically, rather than? Because they mentioned something about like magical interference or like being affected if they were the one who released the thing.
Mhm.
So
roll me a medicine check.
sure. That is going to be a big 24.
So with that roll, there doesn't look to be anything wrong with him other than you can remove the words "definitely not" as part of the description of.
Fuck me. Okay. Rune looks more visibly nervous.
Yes.
No more questions. Thank you. You can go now. We're going to have a quick search up here. We may as well. We're already here, if that's all right.
If one more thing from me, or two more things actually. Firstly, you should take these. They're ferrous sulfate tablets. I believe you may have B12 deficient pernicious anemia. The other thing being that you mentioned stowaways. Have you ever encountered a stowaway on board the ship before?
I mean, there was like an incident a couple of years ago.
And where was that stowaway discovered?
Oh, in storage.
In storage. Is there a smuggler's hold?
There was at the time. It's since been sealed.
Jolly good. Right. Yeah. Marvelous.
Should we
Eat
start at
plenty
the
of red
far?
meat. You'll feel better.
I will.
Should we start? At the far... Should we start at the far end of the corridor and then work our way across?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Ido's head, fucking vampire.
Eh? What?
Fucking vampire.
Oh. Oh yes. Oh.
Very good. And
This,
off he goes.
the sun thing is starting to make a lot more sense now.
Right. So we are thinking that perhaps someone sent this cadre of vampires into the sun on purpose.
That's what I'm going with now, yes. I'd like not to be on this ship now, please.
Should we just leave and take the bit with us? I mean,
I kind of want to
Well-
leave a Union poster where the key was.
I think
That's
we
classy.
need to get the rest of the not vampire people off the ship, though.
Crew and
Crew.
guests. Maybe
Yeah.
guests.
Well, my Dragonborn friend, the one who I mentioned before, I really don't want her to die up here.
if they were replacing again all telepathically, if they've been replacing the crew with autonomes, why would they do that if they needed to feed on blood?
The passengers, they can still feed on them. I guess
I
occasionally.
I wouldn't give it a good review on Fantasy Yelp if they had sucked my hemolymph from my very body.
Well,
Could be
Maybe
that they're so wealthy that they're buying it from alternate sources.
it's also true.
True.
What if that
Oh, well.
sealed smuggler's hold just has a big supply of blood in it?
That's what I wondered.
Blood bags.
Oh,
Or slaves.
What if
And
the vault has a
Or
bunch of
old engineers.
Yeah. Let's
I'm
go to
going to
the
start poking
hold,
around
shall
these
we?
other rooms like we said we were going to be doing, at least for a few minutes, loudly.
Well, let's
Sure.
and while you're doing it loudly, can I
Yeah.
try and get into the captain's quarters
That's
and check-
what I
and
was
check
aiming
for-
for, really, yeah.
and check for traps?
So
This feels like a traps situation.
as we you will be bardically inspired and guidance will be cast on you.
My awakened shrub is orderly is going to help me with my loud search.
Vaxis will also help with the loud search. You know,
Well,
Vaxis can be very loud.
Me and my orderly with our combined -7 charisma modifier.
When you say they feed on old engineers, how persuasive is that as a comment?
I didn't say it.
No,
it was me.
no, that's that Ido, yeah.
I mean, for my perception check to convince deception or whatever charisma check I'm making to sell the fact that we're doing that and to distract from the course of the runes investigation. My awakened shrub got an 18 on the die for a 13 total, and I got a natural 20 for an 18 total.
And Vaxis got 14 for a 15 total.
Such fun! Ta la la la! Drill the locks out. Yes, there we go.
Are
Yeah,
you
drill the
going
lock
down-
out!
Are you going down in rank, or are you picking a room at random other than captains?
I think I am making a pretense to start at
the
an
opposite
orderly
end.
place, which would end up eventually at the captain's cabin,
Yeah, oh, well,
which
yeah,
is
go
the
for the
furthest
like.
away from where Rune is.
Go,
Like, yeah,
I think go for the lowest ranked. That'll be the furthest
yeah,
away from the
that would be the
captains, right?
furthest away then. Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
Roll me an investigation.
I would love to. Can I guidance this?
You can.
27.
Sweet. So this room is notably smaller, lower rank, lower, smaller room.
Yeah.
And you find that so stuck to the wall, affixed to the wall, is it's not a pamphlet, it's not a poster. It's like
Pin up?
No,
Information.
it's like I can't think of the words to describe it. It is like a framed piece of paper, and on that piece of paper is something entitled the Vampiric Code.
Okay.
I'm gonna
I
read that.
will read that and see if I can transcribe it as well, depending on... I've got 4 arms.
Article 1. Don't eat each other. No crew member shall partake of another creature's flesh or drink their blood. Article 2.
No creature.
No creature's flesh or drink their blood.
Huh.
Article 2. No hymns. Many crew members' ears are sensitive to holy praise. Whilst aboard the ship, bards and other musicians are allowed to play only secular tunes. Article 3. Coward's consequence. Those who abandon their post or shirk their duty shall be marooned. Article 4. No shipboard conflicts. All disputes shall be settled on land. That's it.
Okay.
So they're good vampires.
Crew, not passengers.
Well, no, because it said creatures.
Are they vegetarians? Is the inference I would be asking to take from that?
I think they feed in a different way. I would assume it would be they're feeding off the joy that patrons, because they go.
Oh, are
here
they like
coming-
Jiangxi emotional vampires rather than blood drinkers?
What's Article 1 again? Can you repeat that?
Article 1. Don't eat each other. No crew member shall partake of another's creature's flesh or drink their blood.
Oh, okay. So it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, it seems a bit contradictory that they say don't eat each other, but then they kind of branch it out to don't eat any or don't have any blood.
Well,
Is
I
that
think
is
because
that the
they're
reading
all-
of it?
I think because they're all on a ship together, like while they view themselves as a higher life form, each other is more of an umbrella term for everyone else as well. Maybe.
I'm loving the fact that this session genuinely could end up with Ido with a crossbow in each hand, hovering 5 feet off the ground, blasting all things bright and beautiful telepathically.
Weird.
Yeah.
So for my investigation check into the captain's quarters to make sure it's not trapped, I got 24.
It is not trapped. It is, however, locked. The access key you've been given does not allow you access to that room.
Yeah, but
So
I
you
have
have to.
lockpicks. And I'm much better with lockpicks than I am with investigating. So,
Is there anything behind? Sorry, real quick. Is there anything behind the vampiric rules poster framed thing? No. Okay.
Nope.
That's like the sum total of what we find in the place.
I mean, you find other personal belongings. There's nothing.
But like in terms of clues, yeah.
Yeah.
31. I have luck points as well, so I can
Yeah.
burn them if I need to. So, my mother said that this was a bad skill to learn.
You're in the captain's quarters.
I know. I need an adult.
Jolly good. I shall prevail down the corridor. Faxis, would you mind that you can't hear me anyway, I speak telepathically, just make some noise. I will join.
Right!
I will join Rune.
Vaxus makes enough noise for 2 people searching.
My little shrub scampers up on your shoulder and starts directing you with its little head mirror.
Okay, lift up the entire bed to look under it. Give it a few pumps and then put it down again.
Yeah, I will. Have you been moved to a different area, Rune?
No.
Oh, that was what I assumed you meant by I need an adult.
It's more of like there is a room that is the captain's quarters that is probably dangerous, and I don't really like going in here alone.
Noted. Yes, very good. Right, let's have a look see, shall we?
Yes.
Feel free to give me a roll.
I would check for traps first. This feels like a trapped kind of place.
It's not good. It's a 21.
That's why you're here.
You find in another locked drawer. I'm not going to make you roll to unpick this one. a note. It looks like it was written on scrap paper, and the writing. Roll me an insight.
Is this guidanceable?
Yes.
25.
Whoever made this note was both unfamiliar with common and also was unfamiliar with writing. And the note says, I'm tired. Can I have a break from work? Breaks are fun.
Does
Thank
it
you.
look singed around the edges or anything?
It looked a little singed around the edges, and the writing itself, rather than being drawn with ink or something, some sort of chemical that has been put onto the paper, it looks like it's not scorched, but like the material of the paper has been changed as something has made a note on this thing.
Yeah. Right. I think that energy being might have been incommunicado with the old captain.
Right. So, and it wanted a break, and the captain said no.
I think the engineer might have been trying to unionize the engines.
This is
Which honestly, I'm not super mad about.
No, that seems okay, but also confusing in a general sense.
I mean, the engines are already unionized, right?
I mean, I've seen weird. I mean, look at humans, big, sort of pseudo hairy pink chimps. They're weird.
They
Not
just stay
not
the same,
necessarily
really.
the engines, but what about the robots?
The autonomes as well. Yes.
And actually, it was the autonomes that then released the energy being.
I don't still have detect magic up, and I don't want to spend my last spell slot on it again. Could I infer from like an Arcana check what might have made this burning on the paper?
Mm-hmm.
That's better. 26 without guidance, 29 with.
I think you can be reasonably confident that the marking etchings are very, if not identical, similar to the ones around the inner engine room around the confinement. Those marks that you found outside the broken container and inside the vent.
But they are not in... So they're made by the same thing, but those ones weren't in common, these are.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Right.
You get the impression that, similar to how when the creature moves, it makes an impression on the thing it touches, it has done something with it, an appendage of some description over the paper. So the stuff in the vent might not be words, but it is the same effect of the creature touching a physical substance.
Is there any sign of similar markings on the part that we recovered from the first officer's room?
Nope.
So, engineer removes the part. No, somebody removed the part who isn't anyone.
I think the first officer, the captain, might have removed the part. First officer hit it, and then they stranded themselves here for a reason. They wanted us to come here and find the creature, I presume.
So they
That
don't-
or it's two separate things. So what if it's a power play? So by the first officer. So because if the captain were to fail to not steer the ship into the sun, the first officer could then save the day at the last moment and depose the captain. He's taking
But then the
advantage.
first officer didn't seem like he had any prior knowledge of the part being in that place.
He showed no signs, no, but he could also be incredibly good at deception. I mean, if it's one vampire trying to take out another, you presumably have to hide your intentions incredibly well.
Would be against the code for one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine if one of them goes against the code, the rest will come down on that one like a ton of bricks.
Yes. Well, a ton of silver steaks, and garlic, etc.
Whatever it is, yes.
They get marooned.
Yes. It doesn't. It only says that if they shirk their duty, not if they have a conflict. If they have a conflict, something else can happen.
True. I would assume that following this code is, however, part of their duties. Who knows?
I think it would behoove us to have a look at the storage compartment and possibly another look at the engines.
Also,
Maybe
have we seen every single one of the officers now?
As in the rooms, or as in the officers themselves?
The officers themselves.
You haven't, but they're there in various parts of the ship. Some are in the casino, some are on the bridge, some are in the quarters. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Could I make a cursory examination of the rooms we haven't looked into, just in case there's stuff in there?
Can I pay special attention to whoever is directly below the first officer?
In rank.
Yes. So if it is a power play, but it's not by the first officer against the captain, it might be the second officer against the first officer.
You've already searched that room.
Oh yes, that was like
because that was the room. You wanted to see if every room had a part in it.
Yes,
so
that was it. Yes. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we've already done that.
While they're doing that, I'll be cleaning up the captain's. So putting the note back and all the other stuff, just to make sure that nothing, and then closing the door as if no one was ever in there.
Is the first officer still in his room?
No, as soon as you didn't have any more questions for him, he went away. He didn't hang around.
That's not the sign of a guilty. Okay.
23 for the next room along.
You're going up in rank this time.
Yeah.
It is another low-ranking cadet, and it is the similar plaque on the wall.
So that's there for more for instruction for the officers than anything else. It looks like it's in place there by the ship sort of staff, rather than this has been brought from home and is a treasured memory.
Yes, so it is akin to going into a hotel room and finding the
fire instructions. Yes.
Yeah.
Or employees must wash their hands.
Yes.
Before biting the necks of the passengers.
Employees must wash their hands, not in blood.
Basically, I'm just going to continue up the line until we have searched all of them with the same sort of vibe.
So you find that where's my list? Cadet Viscardi, Cadet Killian, Cadet Zintus, all have similar plaques, and then as you start to go up to the more senior ranks, they don't have them.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
And you find nothing else of particular.
Yeah, that checks out.
Okay, before we actually speak to anyone, I'd like to just have a quick scooch around the ship and just visually inspect all the vampires and see if one of them has like a different quality to their skin. You know, maybe they're slightly better fed than the others.
Oh, okay.
Or alternatively, more charcoaly.
Yeah, just see if one of them stands out as being notably different from the others. And I might enlist Ido to help with this with his.
The doctor is in.
There are 9 officers that you can count. I'm not going to make you roll 9 checks. I'll make you roll 1 for the officers on the officers' floor and 1 for those on the passengers' floor in the casino.
So 26 for
whichever one. Are you
whichever
going to
one.
do first?
Let's go with the floor. The floor that we start on is the top
The
upper
bridge.
deck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Joe, you
And what was the roll?
26.
26.
None of them particularly stands out as having some sort of infection or influenced by something else.
And do any of them look like they've eaten more red meat recently?
They all have a similar pale complexion.
They all have the same pallor. Jolly good. And for the crew, the casino floor,
I need you to roll me a con save.
I would love to. That is
Anyone who's going on that floor.
Yep.
16 for the Constitution saving throw.
That's low. That's a 13.
So
21.
Jex once again bricks this roll, so that's 5. Goon is 20 on his con save.
So Goon and Rune, you get a light buzz but no other effect. Ido, Jex, and Vaxis, you now have disadvantage to any wisdom ability check or saving throw, as you get a mild buzz as you re-enter the passenger door.
And then a 24 on the medicine check, but I do need to reroll that with disadvantage, presumably.
It's a wisdom check.
That's a natural 20, which is a real shame. So I'll stand on 24, as we are in a casino, which I believe, if you are in a casino, standing on 24 is a tremendously bad idea.
You do not note. Again, they are all similar pallor, similar affection. Yeah.
And then finally the lower decks.
There are no officers on the lower decks.
Yeah.
Is that where the storage is? Oh, sorry.
Mhm.
Okay. While we're down here, wanted to go check out the storage.
Yeah, can Goon go speak to the auto names?
Sure.
I'll let you
Uh,
sort storage out first.
You enter a cavernous room which is crammed with crates, barrels, and various other storage containers. Dim lighting casts long shadows between stacked sections. The room is a logistical hub where the ship's essential components, food, and other necessities are stored for the journey ahead. It is also eerily quiet, with only the hum of the nearby engines and the occasional opening and closing of a door in the distance.
We know that there used to be a smuggler's hold in here, from what we
That
were
got
told.
walled up.
Yes. Could we find that?
Roll me an investigation.
Can this be guidance?
Mhm.
31.
You find a number of locations that could be used as a smuggler's hold. You find nothing in any of them.
Okay.
I
is there
will.
any... Oh, please.
Pardon? I will let that investigation stand because there's no point me asking you to roll it again anyway. You find that another vent in this area, well, multiple vents, but one in particular you notice has very similar scorch marks to the one in the engine room.
Does it look like the thing has exited or entered the vent? Or both?
Both.
Curious, curious.
You find that it has come out in an area that stores various engine parts. Just like energy cells and that sort of thing.
Do the energy cells look drained at all?
They do.
I think I might try and reach out telepathically and say, is anybody there? Anybody who might be sort of glowy and made of energy? Friendly, I promise. I don't know if someone's mistreated you in some way, but if you could use a friend, we're here. Or a doctor. I'm a medical man.
You hear nothing.
Makes sense.
I will say that the ship is too big for that to be broadcast across the ship, so you have to be reasonably
I more
confident.
meant specifically in the storage area.
Nothing in the storage area.
Yeah, cool. Is that more than like 240 foot radius?
Yeah.
Okay.
The room itself, no. The room itself is not that big, but it won't extend beyond the storage room.
Yeah, looking for within here, really.
Yeah.
So, what do we think? This thing wanted a break. Captain said no. The engineer disagreed.
I believe so.
That sounds likely.
But then where does the first officer fit into all this?
Don't know. Maybe he's tired of being a vampire. Maybe they don't want to be vampires or something. Like one of them is like, I'd rather be dead.
Or
This is
maybe
like-
they want to feed again.
Maybe.
Which one of us has the navigation piece?
It was Goon and
Rune, who found it?
Rune that found it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It was Jex and
Yeah.
Rune who found
And
it.
where does the unionization fit in on all of this?
I mean-
That's what Goon's gone to go ask the auto names. That
And
exact.
where is Goon?
Yeah.
Oop. Oh, that's probably bad.
Well, I mean, he's literally just in the room next door,
Fair.
if
right.
I've remembered the ship layout correctly.
You have?
So,
oh, apologies, I'm on the right.
cool. You'll have to imagine his voice. I've developed a cough in the last half hour, so I'm not going to do voice anymore. But the game will ask the auto names if the previous engineer ever attempted to unionize them.
Yes. No. Yes. He talked about Humani's cooperation to try and negotiate better terms, but we love it here. We're more than happy to work. We were not interested.
I think these are the scabs.
Can I insight check that? Is that
You
even
can.
possible? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's insight? 11.
On that roll, there being completely truthful. They do not care for better wages. Why would they need wages? They are more than happy to be doing what they're programmed to be doing.
Cool. And was anyone else that they're aware of interested in the union?
We did not pay attention to who he spoke to next. We told the captain that we weren't interested, and he went away.
Bet you did.
Ah,
High velocity out of an airlock.
yes. Did he ever put up a poster in the room next door?
The engineer goes into the inner engine room to make repairs quite often. You went there a few weeks ago.
Yes, but that was after the previous entry. I wasn't going to put up posters. I have zero interest in unionizing. Just if you're giving the captain feedback.
My taste very bad.
Yes.
We do not know what the engineers do in that room. It is beyond our purview and programming.
Gotcha. And have you ever heard anything moving about in the vents above you, specifically in the last 2 weeks? Even more narrowly today, have you heard anything?
It has been rather more noisy than normal. Even more noisy than typical engine patterns. But we pay it no means. You are given all the repair reports, and you've not given us any recently, so we pay it no mind.
Yes.
The last
Okay.
one we heard was going in the direction of the engine room.
And when did you hear that?
A couple of hours ago.
Interesting. So, how long has the new crew been on the ship, like the rescue crew, like Jex and
2
Runa?
weeks. No, a week. 10 days.
No.
It's in after
us.
party.
Like
Oh, the party.
Yeah.
Oh. At this point, you've been up and down
More
the
or
ship
less
a few
than
times.
2 hours, I guess.
Oh,
is my
absolutely
question.
more. I will tell you for free that the hour count aligns with the moment that the lights flickered at the beginning of the session. And you have been here a few more hours after that,
Okay.
but prior to that event. So you've probably been here about 6 hours, 7 hours, something like that, or almost a full day.
Can Goon go into the more secure engine room?
Mm-hmm.
And assuming an hour has not passed since he activated his crystal,
Mm-hmm.
can he send out a telepathic broadcast? It's got to be something he can see. Okay. He'll shout down the pipe. Is anybody there? Do you require help? And he can pick up on telepathic signals as well for the next hour. But again, I think that's limited to 60 feet, but I don't think he needs to. Yeah, I can perceive the content of any telepathic communication used within 60 feet of me.
Does anyone know what race this engineer was?
Dwarf.
So no telepathic or magical things or anything like that.
Possible,
Not-
given he was an engineer.
Not inherently, anyways.
Not as part of not biologically.
So similar to what Ido perceived last session, you rather than words, you get a telepathic message being sent to one of the other creatures that are still down here, and the thought that you get is like safety or home, but there's a roll me an insight.
Yeah, sure. Oh, natural 20.
There's like a big old question mark at the end of that. Is it safe? Are we home yet?
Gotcha.
Are they trying to go back towards the sun to go home?
Yeah.
So the engineer, or well, whoever took the part, sorry, this is out of character, whoever took the part set this ship on its course in order to free the solar beings which are powering the engines.
I believe we did have that. We did consider that possibility last week, but
Yeah.
That seems probable.
To confirm it, can I telepathically broadcast an image of the sun? So, like, I'm thinking about the sun, and the word home question mark, and just kind of broadcasting it out to anyone that happens to be listening.
Oh, I think Goon's clocking off. Oh, that's a shame.
I-
You seem nice.
I don't know if that will even work.
I mean,
except,
you could send that to the creatures in the tanks that haven't escaped yet.
yeah, except additionally you're immune to any effect that would sense your emotions or read your thoughts. So actually, no, even if I broadcast that out, it won't work. It would have to be a direct telepathic, like I'd have to see. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's why I'm saying do it into the tank, because if this escaped one is asking question, "Are we home?" It could. Rich said it was being directed at the ones in the tanks.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I will attempt to telepathically send the question like "sun home," like "sun equals home?" question mark, and I will point that at one of the tanks that is not destroyed.
Roll me another insight check at advantage.
15.
There you get two thoughts that come back to you. First is a sense of affirmation, and the second is one of curiosity as to who you are.
Okay. Yeah, I think based on his stats, I think he's going to get a bit overwhelmed, and he's going to go out and he's going to relay his current communication to the rest of the group. So I've opened up a dialogue with the creatures in the tanks. They do appear to be going home. They're questioning who I am. Where are we aligning ourselves? Because obviously you've all come here on your own ship, but I work here and I was hired as an engineer, and I feel effectively permanently disabling the engines would be a bit of a stain on my engineering reputation. At the same time, I don't like the idea that these creatures are trapped.
Do you want to work? I guess you don't want to work here anymore.
You could try joining the Spelljammer Academy. They're always looking for engineers.
Yeah.
We could use an engineer.
That's true.
If
yes.
there's work going. I'll be honest. Ever since your medically enthusiastic fellow planted the idea that they might be after my blood, I am keen to get off this ship. So.
Oh, they got a whole pledge and everything. Your blood is safe as long as they're sticking to the pledge.
Yes, I'm not fancying my chances. I guess our question is, what do we do next? Because we can repair the ship, we can repair the navigation system, but the navigation system will be useless if we free the creatures.
Well, we could just hide that missing part. Say, sorry, we're giving up. We will escort any evacuees that you wish to the nearest starbase or whatever, and then allow the ship to just float into the sun.
I mean, the other option really is to kind of suggest, they should work with the creatures and give them the break they want, create a whole union shop here. It's a question of how lazy are we feeling, really.
Well, given that the last engineer who suggested unionization is no longer aboard this ship or perhaps on this mortal plane, I don't want to suggest unionization to them.
That feels like a thing we should probably do something about. Like, if they've killed somebody, we should probably put a stop to that.
Do we have a grasp on, and I appreciate this is a heavy question for 10:05. Do we have a good grasp on the intra-organizational policies of the Spelljammer Academy vis-a-vis unionizing and our position on it?
Have we heard the old wolf drunkenly ranting about unions one day, saying "fuck 'em all"?
You haven't. What I will say is that post-graduation, you are much more akin to a mercenary company. And as you've already seen, you are taking on contracts. Those contracts are entirely up for negotiation. So, is there a union? There's not. At the same time, you're more than welcome to quibble and negotiate over the contracts that you take or not
So
take.
we get like a dental plan and that kind of thing as spelljammers, like.
Well,
We're technically self-employed.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I mean,
gig
the
economy.
Spelljammer Academy is, in effect, some kind of trade union, in the fact that it's a commercial hub. You know,
If we suspect a client has murdered someone, do we have the right to refuse to assist them?
I mean, I guess that depends whether they. Obviously, in this case, we believe it was cold-blooded murder, but there are other scenarios where, like, we're battling pirates in a previous one, and that was perfectly fine to blow them up. So
They were trying to kill us, though.
Yeah,
that was
so-
justifiable
trying to pay us.
self-defense.
yeah. But what I'm saying is, like killing in and of itself is not inherently a deal breaker, but I think murder probably is.
Man, we haven't a good old-fashioned moral philosophy debate since Heck Riders.
You see, I don't think murder is a deal breaker. I think we have accepted a contract, and breaking that contract, or accepted a mission and breaking that mission, would not reflect well on the Spelljammer Academy. I think that is the bigger. Just from an organisational point of view, I think that is the bigger point that would be made.
The one thing I will do is remind you what the headline was for this mission, which was, we received a message for one of our high-value clientele.
Yeah.
Yes, but to get all Avernacy, and vampires might appreciate this as well, they have asked for assistance.
Our recommendation can be, you need to not treat your
You
fucking...
need to find either we can open up negotiations with your engines effectively, or we can look at retrofitting a different form of
Propulsion.
Yeah, because they are a high value client, but it doesn't say how we have to do it. Obviously, if we just say, sorry, you're all dead, bye, yeah, that's probably
frowned upon, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is, if we just, we could just run down the clock. Don't admit that. Oh, don't admit that we found the part. Run down the clock, and then just see who starts to get especially frantic when they can't find the part.
Unless
you do risk testing a vampire's patience, though.
That's never gone badly for any party.
Next time, send better.
I'm not saying, like, run down the clock by doing nothing. No, still do best efforts to find who it was that took it in the first place. Try our best to find this energy creature. Yeah, try and do all that. But at the same time, we also still have that piece of the navigation array just hidden away, not where it was left, and that might be a way to flush out the saboteur.
If we announce to the...
Why don't we ask the entities if they're happy to remain if they're given breaks? Because actually that might make the situation a lot easier. If it's just a case of, we can repair your ship, but you're going to have to cycle out, like, because they're already operating on 3 of 4 engines. So it could just be that like, one of them is always on a break, so they always have 3 out of 4 engines running, and they swap shifts. Like, that could be the compromise. We can get your ship running.
Ask them if it is unpleasant to do what the ship is making them do as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you go, good.
Can I go back into the engine room?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we could all go.
Yeah.
Than just...
Yeah. I can swipe you all in. I will go.
I like it.
Yeah. Because the message I want to relay is, like, current existence, comfortable, but they didn't really have a grip on common, did they?
Pain is pretty universal.
Yeah. Can I send?
Hear pain.
Yeah. Hear pain or comfort.
Like, an insight check.
Yeah.
Joe just said guidance, which didn't really come through.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. It's cool. 18.
They recoil a little bit at even the mention of pain, and they will repeat their previous sentiment of, "Who are you?"
Just send
Friend.
ally.
Yeah.
Friend,
Friend is fairly
with an image of yourself.
Impartial mediator? Is that too complex?
I would say
Probably.
a
Yeah.
little.
friend/engineer and have like a mechanical wrench or something like that to try and show like a level of skill. Like it's not.
I
like,
would recommend not, because the that could be a symbol of their oppression.
But
What if they
engineer-
killed the last engineer and the company covered it up?
Well, then we're gonna find that out.
Maybe they did it on accident.
As a player, I accept what you've said.
Like, sometimes you gotta poke the hornet's nest.
As
And
a character, yeah, Goon does not have that level of insight based on his charisma modifier is not good. So
Insights.
So,
of
yeah,
wisdom.
wisdom's 0. So,
Okay, all right, yeah, carry on.
so yeah, it will be like friend/engineer.
A picture of yourself.
Yes.
Roll me insight at advantage.
Can this be guidance again?
Yeah.
Sure.
Ido's guidance takes the form of sort of fairly patronising pointers,
Uh,
which make you want to succeed more just to spite me.
It's like
in a way that it isn't like yours, yeah.
Yeah, it's only a 10. Because that was 2 8s.
You get an almost overwhelming sense of anger, and the image they send back to you is one of a picture of you strengthening and reinforcing the holdings from a week ago.
Okay. Then the image of them being removed and the question "take off?" ? As in take off, as opposed to like blast off. Remove, I guess, would probably be one that won't cause us much confusion.
You now have to roll at disadvantage and roll me another insight check.
Yeah, that's entirely fair, and I rolled better than I did with advantage. Cool. That is 18.
You get a hesitant affirmation. They don't trust you, but that is what they want. So
They want me to remove the modifications that I made.
Well,
Which
you
I
are
can do.
You are the engineer of this ship. We have no say in what you do.
Yes, but if I do this, I can quite safely say that my employment here is likely to be terminated quite swiftly.
Yes.
Would you like a job?
I would, because I don't fancy my chances if I'm escorted off by the captain.
Okay, the pay is variable.
We have a department for that.
But
That
all the cooking sherry you can drink.
I'll
promise
join
that.
you in that. Yeah, I've
What's
checked it all
Jax's
out.
reaction when I say that?
The water just bubbles inside Jax.
Yeah, like one of
Threatening
his
me
eyes
seems.
will twitch, but actually it will kind of just blob up and down. Like,
I'm only joking, Jax.
and like 4 limbs will then cross, like the tendrils cross over.
Now you're getting it. Can I ask what check would it be to sort of work out? Because I know we talked, I think, last session about like obviously keeping a sentient creature imprisoned is against the law, and keeping an elemental isn't. Are we to understand this is some grey area in the middle of the two?
This is kind of is. I mean, if you were to ask a imprisoned fire elemental, does he want to hang around someone and fighting monsters, or does he want to go back to a lovely volcano? I think you know what the answer would be, right? So it's whether society as a whole cares or not.
This feels like it has a greater sentience, although that may just be.
I don't ever talk to a fire element.
like genuinely possibly, because he probably has used them to power things before now, and is now not feeling super great.
I made a whoopsie.
I will send a message again telepathically to the creatures in the thing. It will go. I'll release you, but you not harm the guests. You just leave. Do you agree?
We will get in a lot of trouble, probably. for
He
not
will get in a
stopping
lot of trouble. We can just leave before he does it.
You four
that's
should go
true.
somewhere else.
That's
I
a good
will-
point.
I will undo this, and then I will sneak aboard your ship.
I need to go talk to a friend.
Okay,
A point of clarification: if we remove the propulsion systems here,
it will just
even if
drift.
we reinstall the part for the navigation system, will they now know exactly where they're going, but not be able to get anywhere else?
Yeah, it's like you've reattached the steering wheel, but you've drained the fuel tank. Like, it's great you can turn, but you've got no propulsion now. So they'll now.
So
be adrift.
they'll keep drifting into the sun.
They will keep drifting on the course that they're currently going on, is what I will say.
Okay, I have an idea, and I think I need to reattach the navigation part to prove it one way or t'other.
Okay.
So here is a concept of what might have happened. Someone has set this course, stole the navigational part, and it looks like it's heading near the sun. Is it just planning to go near to the sun rather than into it, in order to sort of gravity slingshot around it, but also to get close enough for these creatures to get back into the sun they live in?
That is an excellent theory. I look forward to you to figuring it out in game.
That's a brainwave. I let's face it, I know smarter than I am by some kind of way, so I think he probably figures that out. But I think, am I right in thinking that in order to test that, I would need to reinstall the part?
To figure out if that's true or not?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Can I try and make a roll to?
So-
If you
But
remember,
you know
which you may
The
not,
part. Gone.
I was just going to say, they've still got the ability to view the maps and stuff. Like everything, if I remember correctly, everything went down, and then when they got it back up again, they were able to see exactly where they were going, but they couldn't make any changes because that small part was missing.
You're correct, and is analogous to a steering wheel. The steering wheel is missing, but you can still look at the window. You can still look at a map. You can still
They've
look
still
at
got all
your
the maps
GPS.
and things, so we don't have
And
to
there
reinstall that piece. We can go and check
There
it
are
out.
multiple locations on this ship where you can figure that out.
Hold that thought, then, chaps. I might go zooming off and go and do a bit of science.
The creatures, they control how fast we're going, don't they?
Yes.
We just can't turn. So we've got an engine that goes forward, so they can stop whenever they want to. They're just choosing not to.
Yes.
Is that true, or is it siphoning off energy whether they want it to or not? In the same way that a hot air balloon kind of thing has a fire elemental under it, and it's just the constant heat is what's allowing it to rise and fall.
The question is, if all four elementals were to be set free and leave the ship, would it continue traveling at the same speed it currently is, or would it stop?
Yes.
Because
Same
there's
speed.
no
Same speed.
there's no friction in the astral sea, so
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So yeah, we need to find out exactly where we're going before we dismantle the engines.
does the ship have retro thrusters?
No.
Turning circle on this must be about 400 miles.
Depends how fast you're going.
Yeah, well.
You're
I
trying
mean,
to casino.
Feel free, anyone, to make me a spell jamming check.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, mine's a charisma based.
Mine's strength based. That fell out.
20.
So
21 if guidance is loud.
you need a 15.
22.
Both Jex and Goon did not make it.
I only got 13.
I'm
so-
not even sure if Goon can make one at this stage. I guess. he would.
So those who made it, spell jamming is a magical process. You require a helm. Whilst the power source on this ship is different in that it requires these creatures to power it, once powered, it's effectively like your own ship in that you can activate hyperspace and then immediately slow down and do all these sorts of maneuvers of it. It's not really like a spaceship in the traditional sense that we know it, in that like the conservation of momentum when requires to sort of slow down something in the opposite direction, it is all pure magic. And so you know that once you removed the energy source, which in this case is the creatures, you can't suddenly stop. There is no brakes. It is the magical effect of using the Spelljammer Helm to slow you down in combination with the energy source it requires.
Gotcha.
Sure. So what it's done more than anything is just sort of tape the engine's throttle open at a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And remove the steering wheel.
Yeah.
So find where we can figure out if we're going directly into the sun or slingshot around it. Then I guess.
When you said there were multiple places that we could go to figure this out, how do you mean? Like, obviously, would we be able to see that from like the observation deck or something? Is that the other thing you mean, or?
Yes.
I might head up there and try and work that out because we haven't been there yet. Also,
I will accompany Ido to make sure that nothing bad happens to him.
I'm going to go find my friend and to get on my ship.
Cool.
that seems like a good plan.
Situated. Oh, go on.
How long would it take to remove the shielding? Because it was several days' work to put it all on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you begin prep work to remove it, but not?
So what I will tell you is that you are being very careful to permanently strengthen the containment unit. Are you very carefully dismantling it, or are you sabotaging it?
No, this would be a careful removal.
Okay.
Yeah. While he may not agree with their practices, like he's got pride as an engineer, so he's not just going to take a hammer to the thing. So,
what I will tell you is it will require a number of checks, and how well you do will determine how careful and how fast you go.
Yeah, the objective actually is to do it very slowly. He doesn't want to complete the work until the rest of the group come back to him and say, "Yeah, we're all good."
Are you starting the work now?
Can he assess? He won't physically do any work, but can he assess so he can get an accurate idea of how long the work will take him? Cool. Then that is what he'll do, and then everyone else can go do their thing.
Cool. Roll me an Arcana check.
15.
So on that roll, I'll give you 2 pieces of information. Number 1, doing it carefully will take. It's going to be quicker to undo than to strengthen. It will take, I'm going to say, a couple of hours. But the second piece of information is there are 4 units here, so it's not a case of doing it all. You'll be doing them one at a time.
Yeah.
So what that creature in there decides to do once you've loosened their particular one is a different conversation.
Yeah, of course. Okay, cool. Fine.
Observation deck. Situated at the front of the ship's passenger deck, you enter a huge open space with a domed glass window showing a panoramic view of the starfield ahead of the ship. Comfortable-looking chairs are arranged around the room, offering an opulent viewing experience. On the edge of the room, a small bar area holds a number of bottles of various colours and shapes. A half-elf is lounging on the sofa, watching the bar, where a man in an expensive-looking red tunic looks to be helping himself to the bottle. At the large window, there is a small panel with controls next to it.
What do the controls do?
So if you go over to the controls and start touching them...
Won't touch them, I will inspect them first. But yeah, I wouldn't want to just go, what's this? Beep! Vent the observation lounge!
I mean, that's not out of character for your character, though, to be fair, I guess.
I would say it's akin to a... So have you ever been to like a science museum where you have like an interactive display and there's like a huge novelty trackball and a couple of buttons? It's kind of like that. So you've got a big ball that says move cursor, another button that says inspect, another button that's cancel, go back, and a few other buttons related to an interactive guide of some sort.
Cool. Okay, now he starts prodding it.
So
He just goes, ooh!
welcome to the Silver Stakes interactive exhibit detailing the number of planets in the realm system. Would you like to explore today? Please select a location.
Ooh, garden.
Serves me right for not having this open. Garden. A cluster of 7 planetoids inside a common air envelope, each of them linked by the roots of a large plant, referred to by the local population as Idrisil's child. It is currently 20 days' travel from here.
Can we bring up the sun that we're heading into?
Ooh.
Yes, you can. Annoyingly, the Spelljammer source does not have a name for the sun. So I'm just going to call it the sun. I imagine it has a proper noun name somewhere.
Sol Primaris.
The sun. Currently, where are we? Apologies. Currently, 150 million miles away.
And could you display our trajectory? And then
Yes.
zoom in a lot?
And then a curved orbit around the sun is projected.
Now, when you say orbit, a gravity slingshot, or does it look like it is trying to take us into a stable orbit?
Roll me an Arcana or Investigation check.
Oh, you do spoil me so. Yeah, we're going to call that a 30.
It is a slingshot maneuver.
So could I extrapolate on that where we would end up, or what trajectory we would end up on moving around it once we had passed by the sun?
The projected route will take us to within 1 million miles. 10 million miles of the sun before heading back out to the inner planet ring system. It's
So
currently up to the captain as to where we go after this.
Who set this course?
The course was set by your friendly crew of the Silver Stake Starship.
Is this the intended course?
The Silver Stake Starships apologizes for the deviation to the current voyage. We are sure to delight you with a close-up panoramic view of the sun as we go past it.
How long until we reach the sun?
The route is obviously subject to the captain and the officer's crew, but the current at current velocity, we will get within million miles of the sun in approximately 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So much for running out the clock.
I'm gonna let that. No, I'm not gonna let that. You can make me a perception check if you'd like.
Me?
And whoever's in this room looking at the screen.
I assume this one can't be guidance, so I'll go without. To 21.
2.
So what the interactive portion of this thing is doing is basically a holographic interface over the dome that's highlighting almost like an augmented reality view of the view in front of you. It's circling points of interest, planets. You notice with those rolls a few that are currently marked in red.
In red?
Mhm.
Oh, what does that signify?
There are 2 of particular interest. This is the star Alari 4, named after a famous elven explorer on the topic. It has currently been getting brighter for the last 10 months.
What's this other one?
This is the star known as Exari 3. It is currently being dimmer for the last 10 months.
And is that related to the sun?
There is no correlation between these 2 events.
Ido, and the fact is going to talk quietly so as not to be overheard by the others in the observation lounge.
You can talk telepathically if you like.
Apologies, there are 3 red circles.
What's
And
the
the
third?
This one is just right.
This is an unknown star. It recently appeared in the last 6 days.
Where is it? Making a note of that because I think that's where the station is now.
Where is it? It is currently located somewhere within the realm space system.
Well,
How
I'd like to
long
make a
ago-
note of where it is so that we could in theory, get there.
Would that be like a spell jamming check or?
You can roll me a Arcana check to manipulate this thing into giving you like some form of coordinate system that you could use to pinpoint. Or to
Could
display
I
electric.
could I use my proficiency in cartographer's tools and or navigator's tools?
Yes, you can.
Blind.
Can I have a go?
You can.
Was that Arcana?
Yeah.
31.
I got 7.
Then yes, you can figure out where roughly it is within the system.
Can note of that. Ido just fully just Allen keys a panel off, slides in there. Yeah.
Anyway, yes. Speaking quietly, because I don't believe I can respond telepathically. I think you can only
I
send
think
it
you
out.
can. Oh, you might be right. Yeah. Yeah. Go for it.
So speaking quietly, would the crew have altered this display because it's open to the public?
Certainly possible.
So they're just telling everyone that we're having a slingshot around the sun, when in fact we're going straight towards it. Would be best to check the
Check on the navigation route.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I think that's rather a good idea.
When did this ship start experiencing problems? Was it 2 weeks?
1 week.
1 week.
Been 1 week since you looked at me.
And is that a 10-day week?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the 6 days isn't related to the problems they've got here. Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I think we'll head up to the navigation room and see if this correlates with what we have found there.
No other insights of interest?
Oof.
Oof.
Because that's a face of a DM who has a document.
No, please ask for more, please.
And a face that I know right well.
There is currently no known information about the planet Uth. It is rather a secretive planet.
Yeah, yes. Well, that big of an ego, you get a bit paranoid.
Did we have any other
Toril.
planet name?
I can give you the names of the planets: Toril, Collier, Anadia, Capri, Chandos.
No.
So Anadia is the
Yeah.
location of your previous mission. Collier is the name of your next mission.
Yeah, go for the next one, certainly.
Collier, yeah.
Collier, a gas giant located in the inner realms. This has a multiple of earth and water islands that are swirling within the turbulent winds. The islands are occupied by Akora, lizard folk, dragons. It is also of note that the year is about to celebrate upcoming lunar eclipse, a rare event that only happens once every 15,000 years due to the exaggerated elliptical orbit of its moon.
Neat. Okay. Does it say anything about Toril that we don't already know?
No.
And no, never mind.
This is like an information thing for bored rich people to look at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it have ship specs on here?
It will have ship specs as if written by a museum rather than the technical manual, but it will have
That's
some.
kind of what I'm asking, to be honest, because I know a lot of bored men who go on ships a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and they do love their technical specifications. According to this thing, what kind of engines does the ship we're on have?
This ship is powered by 4 Solaris engines. These engines harness the power of a star to power its systems.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else, Vexus?
No, I think head up top.
To the navigation room!
Woo!
Yeah. Can we just confirm that everything lines up with what we're thinking?
I'm not going to ask you to roll for it. You can
Yeah.
confirm it's the exact same information. It is more technical, and you get a more accurate path, but it's giving you the same sort of information. It's going to do a flyby of the sun before going back out to the.
So it's going to do and that will do that under its own power, even without engines, or
Yeah.
okay. And how long would it take to reach the outer planets, or whichever planets it's heading to?
It will reach the next planet in. Where is it? 10 million miles. Let's do the next one is 2 months.
2 months. Okay.
So 2 weeks till it hits the sun, and then another 6 weeks or so till it gets to the next planet.
Yes.
I've got one more question. The officers, are all of them wearing these rings with these little red beads on them?
Now that you mention it, no they are not.
Then that big poster in the ensigns rooms didn't have like
was a
Cardinal Club branding on it or
It was a
anything.
long,
mean, you
long
didn't look
time
at
ago
any of
in a
the
galaxy
portraits.
far, far away.
Sorry, what was that, Rich?
You didn't look at any of the portraits in the officers' quarters that have a long ancestry of having this ring passed down from member to member.
So we've checked the gentleman officers' quarters. Can we
What
check
about the ladies' chambers?
You have not checked out the passenger quarters.
Are we allowed to?
Yeah, you've got the only room that you couldn't go into is the
Captain's cabin, and that's.
No, the vault.
I am kind of
Vault,
tempted to have a quick scour. Like, feel free to if I don't roll well enough, or like if there is nothing to say, just say there's nothing, in the interest of time. But I am curious to see, like, is there anyone who snuck aboard as a passenger who is carrying a bunch of those leaflets, for example, and might be like a plant for the Union effort.
So how are you figuring that? Are you going to pick a room at random? Are you going to go room by room?
I was gonna go room by room,
Okay.
but it might take a while.
Roll me an investigation check, and we will see what we get.
That is a natural 20.
Ah!
Am I allowed to add guidance?
You are not, sir.
That's very fair. In that case, I'll settle for a cool 29. Which is a shame, because I also rolled max on the d4 for guidance. It would have been a 33.
So, I don't think your idea is the sort of person who's going to go into like 100 rooms and just keep looking. But I think you go into enough to know that there's nothing here
Sure.
that would indicate there are any pamphlets in any of the rooms. I will give you the 2 rooms that I have descriptions for.
Go for it.
But first, please describe to me what you're doing in these rooms when you open the door.
I think I will rap smartly upon the door, and then claim to be an external contractor working to maintain the security of the vessel.
Okay.
Routine inspection, I will say.
I will tell you that both of these rooms, the people are not inside. What do you do next?
Oh, if I can just swipe to get in, I'll swipe to get in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. As you enter one of the rooms, because you did not look for traps, you notice that the opening of the door scuffs a pattern that has been marked in the room's carpet.
Yep.
Inside the room, you find a whole bunch of technology carefully laid down on every single available surface space, on the bed, on the desk, on the floor where there was space. So there are 2 things I'd like to happen here.
Yep.
Number 1, Goon, and Mike more specifically, pick an item from Goon's list.
Oh dear.
Anyone else can roll me an Arcana or Tech check.
I'm not there, so
14 Arcana. Not good.
Ooh. Dirty 20 Arcana.
You can obviously tell that this is a completely intact probe that has been taken apart piece by piece perfectly. It has not been, there's no broken pieces. You can't tell, but you get the impression that this is every single piece. As if you had an IKEA part list.
Flat pack.
It is It is all here. In the center of the room is a piece of armor. You also find... one second. You also find on the desk a piece of paper with a whole bunch of mathematics written on it.
Can I get a sense of what that mathematics might be about?
Roll me a Arcana check.
21.
Orbital mechanics.
This is the saboteur's room.
Given the time, I think we'll call it there. And
That's
I'll have to
fair.
go very
That's
quickly.
perfect, though.
Nice one, dude.
Yeah, very nice.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
the plot thickens.